guys, welcome back to another episode of the Hammer and Chisel Performance Podcast. I'm your host, John Heck, and as always, before we get rolling here, I just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsors of the podcast, Troponin Supplements. Keep me decked out in the gear, get me loaded up on the ATP before every podcast that I do. Just gives me a big old surge, 300 milligrams of caffeine and a powerful nootropic. Just gives me a big boost in mood, focus, energy, just has me locked in for these conversations. Guys, check out Troponin Supplements. Use code HECK at discount on their products. But anyway, so I got a special guest for you guys today. You're going to be hearing a bunch from the top levels of the strongman world here in these coming episodes, because we've got a couple big strongman competitions coming up. We have the Strongest Man on Earth competition hosted by Brian Shaw coming up in August. And I have on the podcast today one of the top competitors in that competition. So Trey Mitchell, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me, John.
Yeah, well, you got the great state of Texas flag hanging in the background. Of course, you're a big old Texas boy, and I know you represent the state with pride. You know, I had the honor of living in Texas for a small period of time when I was working for the Houston Texans, and man, I loved it there.
Yeah, I mean, you still represent the state, I see, you know, with your hat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I still, I know that you Texans, you real Texans will get a little touchy, like just because you lived in Texas, it doesn't mean you're a Texan, right? You got to be born and bred to be considered a true Texas boy, no?
You got to, represent our beliefs and everything, die for the freedom and all that stuff,
Yes, sir. Well, we're getting a pretty authentic interview here. You just wrapped up a big training session. We're 4 weeks out from Strongest Man on Earth at this point? Are we 3 or 4 weeks out?
3 weeks of training, 4 weeks from the competition.
Yeah, Gotcha. And you're one of several of just the top competitors in the world competing at this thing. Now, just to put out a little, no conflict of interest here, I am coaching a few competitors that you'll be going up against in the show, and Josh Spurgeon, Bryce Johnson, Wes Dewinski. If you guys are listening to this, I promise this is an unbiased interview, but man, I just wanted to. Yeah. Well, I will. I'm not gonna. This is a neutral interview, so. But no, you're. You're one of the guys that people are watching. I mean, you're one of the guys who's just really been on the rise here in recent years, which is why I wanted to talk to you. And you and I met personally at the Arnold back in March, and we have a mutual friend in Chad Coy who's coaching you. So, how long have you been working with Chad?
I've been working with Chad since early 2022. I got with him right before the Worlds that year. Yeah, and
gotcha.
I've known him since 2020. Just like met him at the first Shaw Classic. Before it was the Strongest Man on Earth, it was the Shaw Classic. Yeah, so he one of the judges there.
Yeah, Chad's a good friend and just one of the good ones in the strongman world. And I know you're in good hands working with him. But man, Trey, if you don't mind, would you just give my follower or my audience a little bit of a background on yourself? Just tell them kind of who you are and how you got rolling in all this.
So I got started in the sport when I was like 18. Just found it online. Just wanted to. After my high school football career, it's just like, I'm not going to go to college or, NFL, doing this. It's just like I want to keep on training, keep on getting stronger, challenging myself physically. And so, I found a local competition and I did it and just like fell in love with the sport. And, after that, just like, I think I can go to World's Strongest Man one day. And, after, 5 years of competing in the amateurs, just like slowly just barely missing out, going to the next level, always competing at the higher level in the amateur league. I finally got my pro card and, started competing, over the world and, in the higher levels.
Trey, how old are you now?
32 now.
32 years old. And so you got started in the sport when you were about 18. And were you a lineman in football when you were playing in high school?
So I played 2 years in high school. Like my first year, I was a tackle, offensive tackles, defensive tackle sometimes. You wouldn't guess my senior year. Yeah.
Yeah. What position you play senior year?
Tight end.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
you put on a few pounds since then. What are you weighing these days?
380. Yeah.
380. Yeah, man. If most of you listening to this, you can't appreciate the sheer size of these guys until you've been backstage at one of these top competitions. And I've always, my whole life, like, everyone looks at me like I'm the big guy. And I mean, I stepped foot backstage at the Arnold, and I mean, you guys are giving me shit for being the undersized one. And I mean,
A little skinny.
I'm yeah, exactly. I'm over there 6'7", 330, and I'm getting made fun of being the skinny pretty boy. And I mean, we got everyone there is 350 up to, you got, Thor at 440 pounds. But I mean, just that's the name of the game in the sport, man. They're just the top of the top, the freaks like you, and it's just crazy to see. Trey, let me ask you this: when you were young and just getting started, like, did you know you had a gift for strength? Were you always kind of the strong kid?
Yeah, like growing up, I was always a strong kid, but I think it was mostly just being active. Like my dad just had me doing chores all out in the yard growing up. Like I played so when I was a little, like third grade, I played football. Like, and then afterwards, I would have been the next year I would have been too big to play with my age group. I would have had to play up. Was like sixth graders. So I was like, my dad's like, you're not playing, anymore. I don't want you to get hurt, whatever. But like in practice, like in third grade, it's just like I'm throwing around the other kids and just, kind of running them over a little bit. And just like the other dad's asking him, just like, and it's just like, man, he's so strong. Just like, why is he, doing this and everything? And my dad just would tell him, it's just like, well, after last week's game, like, what did y'all do? It's like, oh, he was so tired, he just went and, laid on the couch and fell asleep. And it was, well, I had him go with his grandpa to go get bales of hay, after the football game. Just like,
Man, I love that, man. Just a good old strong country boy, man. You got that blue collar upbringing, and I love that. It's man, there's so many freaks, it feels like, in the sport of strongman who just kind of come out of the woodwork, and it's just a guy like, grew up on a farm, whatever, just not necessarily a formal background in lifting at a young age, but there's just something about that blue collar strength that seems to really translate over to strongman. Were you kind of a natural to the sport? Like, once you got rolling, did you take to it quickly? Did it take a few years to really kind of find your own? When did you realize, like, oh, I got a future in this?
Yeah, like I was doing really well, starting out. Like it really suited me. Like you said, just being blue collar, moving weights and running around. Like from the high school football career, just being able to move. Like even like people like that was in the sport for years and everything. Like would say like, yeah, if he keeps at it, like he could really make it in the sport. Like the state chair of Texas for the Strongman Corps, he would tell that to my parents a lot. When I see my competitions.
He was right, wasn't he? And what year did you end up winning your pro card?
2017.
2017.
So 2017, I won amateur nationals for Strongman Corps, and then that was in November. I think it was late October. Like that's when it was, and then in December was the first year for OSG, and like I won that year. I won the inaugural year for OSG.
I remember. So I was. I back in my own competitive days, I was prepping for Strongman Nationals. It was 2018, and I remember it was the year after you. And I remember we were kind of looking back, like from the year prior, just to kind of get a sense of like what were the guys on the podium, what were they hitting in some of these events. And I remember looking back and seeing Trey Mitchell, and I was like, golly, like, who is this freaking dude? And then it's just been fun watching you climb the ranks ever since then. What are some of your best lifts to date? Whether it's log, deadlift, stone, what are some of the lifts that you're most proud of at this point?
In competition, training,
not anything.
Okay. I don't know, like for 2020, like I was trying to prep for the record breakers for the Atlas Stone. A week or two before the show, like I made a 550 22-inch stone, and I hit 3 singles in a training session with that, and it was like that was pretty epic.
That is epic. That is epic, to say the least. And man, I turned on Instagram the other day and I opened it up and it's Lucas Hatton and he hit a 470 log and I was like, golly. And then an hour or two later, I see the Berserker lifter pop up in my Instagram feed. For those of you who don't know, that's Trey's Instagram handle.
Yeah.
And I see you just smoking 470 for a double on log. And I'm like, holy shit, this is going to be just a crazy competition, especially on the log event. Was that a PR for you?
Yeah, that's definitely a PR. Like, it wasn't planned or anything. I woke up in the morning. Chad had my program set out, and it's just, hit a heavy double, and it's just like, turned on Instagram and saw Lucas, hit it, and just like, all right, that's good motivation, and just like hit 470.
Yeah, so I'm always curious with guys at the top, just kind of their mindset. Okay, so you got a planned heavy double, and so, I mean, are you somebody who like you're thinking about it the night before, you're getting all anxious, butterflies about it? Like you seem like a super even keeled, pretty like laid back dude. So, I mean, are you just open Instagram, you see Lucas hit 470 for one, I'm going to go for 470 for two. And that's just how you roll with it.
Yeah. Like, it's like Chad, like, like he'll send my workout an hour or two, like before my program. So it's just like, okay, I don't get to have the anxious feeling, the motivation, whatever. So it's just like, all right, this is what we're doing for the day.
I think you see that a lot with elite athletes is they're not overthinkers, man. They you can just flip a switch and go. Yeah. Like, all right, man, you see a heavy double on there, like I'm just going to hit 470 for two, no big deal. And you're not overthinking about it. You just shut your brain off and go. And I think that's an important quality. And you see it among just some of the best athletes ever. You think you got a 500-pound log in you?
I think it's coming up. I think I can get it pretty quick. It could be really, it's a high possibility for the, SMO this year. Like me and Lucas can be battling for the 500 log.
Guys, thank you for tuning in and supporting the podcast. I just wanted to take a minute to give a shout out over to my guys at Troponin Supplements. So they're the sponsor of the podcast, and in my opinion, they carry the best supplements on the market, and it's not even close. And they're the one company that I've wanted to align myself with. As a nutrition coach working with NFL football players, other professional athletes, strongman competitors, bodybuilders, powerlifters, fitness enthusiasts, endurance athletes, I have to be very particular about any supplement company I endorse. And with Troponin Supplements, frankly, it was a no-brainer. These are the products I've been using myself for the last few years before I ever became involved with the company. I know the owner personally, Justin Harris. He is one of the brilliant minds in the bodybuilding industry, and we've talked, and all he has wanted to do is just bring some of the elite top-of-the-line products to the market, and that's what he's done. So these are the products I recommend and endorse to all my athletes, all my clients. I use myself, and I want to pass this along to you guys as well. So I'm going to highlight a couple products here. First and foremost, we've got the ATP. This is a high dose of caffeine paired with a very powerful nootropic. I take this before work. I take this before I podcast. This is going to give you a great boost in mood, in focus, memory enhancement. You're just going to feel like you took the Limitless pill when you use ATP. It's an effervescent tablet. You drop it in your water, it dissolves, tastes great. The next product, Field Rations. This is the premier intra-workout supplement on the market right now. It's a one-stop shop for all your intra-workout needs. It's based in highly branched cyclic dextrin, contains essential amino acids, electrolytes, tastes amazing. I use this within every training session. Then we've got the Suppressor Max. This is awesome for controlling your blood sugar. It's got a high dose of berberine, but then has complementary ingredients that are going to keep the berberine bioavailable and stay in your system longer. This is the best blood sugar product on the market. If you're bulking, if you're eating a ton of food, if you're using a cheat meal, this is a great product for you. And then finally, I love this one. I've always had sleep issues. Hit the Rack. This is one of the best sleep products I've ever tried. I use it about 30 minutes before bed most nights, and this has been the one supplement that has actually helped me fall asleep and stay asleep. And then of course, we got the Troponin T logo bodybuilding jersey and the hat. We've got great apparel on the site. So guys, check out Troponin Supplements. You can find the link in the show notes, in the bio, or you can simply just Google Troponin Supplements. Use code HECK, capital HECK, at checkout for a discount. Check them out, guys. These are some of the best products on the market. As far as individual events go, do you look at any of these like, is it pure big picture strategy? Like, I'm just going to take what I need to place and to podium, or is it like, man, I'm gunning for winning the log event? Like, do those specific events mean something to you?
No, it's just really focusing on the competition as a whole.
Yeah.
There's like last year for the deadlift championship, like you said, just turn going into that competition, it was just like turn my brain off and let's pull what we can. Like as soon as I got done with my attempt, I would go sit down in the chairs and like put on some music and like maybe some motivational stuff or whatever. Just stay in the zone and pull. When your name gets called, just walked up and gave it another tug.
Man, I wish I was built like that. I'm so like neurotic and in my head about it. Like if I know I've got a heavy deadlift coming up in the week, like that's all I can think about. I'm just like, and I overthink it sometimes, but man, like when it comes to those heavy lifts, like you just got to be fearless.
Yeah.
Like you can't have that little seed of doubt in your mind.
It's been a long time.
Let me ask you this. Go ahead.
It's been a long time since I've got to have that feeling for deadlifts, like going into it, like, all right, this is what I'm going to pull. It's just like, it's just like get that nervous feeling and just like, if this is going to go well or this, whatever. It's just, but like working with Chad, like he kind of like, I guess he figured that out and just like, all right, just don't think about it and just, we'll just stick to the program. But like, for the deadlift championship, I was just, what can I do? What can my body pull? Like my buddy Austin or whatever, he tells a story or whatever. It's just like I pulled 1,000. I didn't even know what was on the bar. Just like I pulled 1,000, and like he says, like, all right, I guess Trey's going to be going to go warm up for the next event, and he turns around and sees me like just like kind of doing that in the corner with my music going, and just like, is this guy gonna go for the next attempt? And he's like, and he actually pulled it.
That's freaking awesome, man. You didn't even know 1,000 was on the bar.
I didn't know what the attempt was or whatever. Like I said, like I just had my music blaring and just like, all right, names up. Like I knew it was getting heavy, but it's just like, is this like 950 or 1,000 the next attempt?
No, that's so cool to me to hear. Like I always, something I love about the podcast is just getting to talk to elite lifters and athletes like you, just hearing the mindset. Like everyone's different with it, but man, that's freaking badass. Let me ask you this. Do you always compete in that trademark straw hat of yours?
Yeah, it's like a little lucky charm or whatever, like my little trademark, like got to represent Texas somehow.
Yeah, I assume we'll see that same exact hat at SMO?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, good. I would hope so. What do you feel like your kind of current strengths and weaknesses are right now as a competitor?
Overall, like I would say, like I've been dealing with grip issues for years now. Like I had a wreck in 2019, and it's just like my hands just will, just hurt for no reason.
Yeah.
Like farmers will go well one week, and the next week it'll just like be dog crap. Other than that, like I would say, working on my athleticism, like I kind of lost that, as I got bigger and like focused more on like the static strength.
Yeah.
Like Chad's like a little bit like before SMO, we were working, not SMO, but before Worlds this year, we were working on that, doing a little bit of the pre-C stuff, like going to like a little school to work on the speed and sprints, and it was working well.
No, I think that's a great thing for strongman competitors to incorporate. I mean, at the end of the day, like you're an athlete. I mean, a power lifter, all they have to worry about static strength, but as a strongman competitor, you got to be able to move.
Yeah.
And I mean, you look at guys like Mitchell Hooper who are kind of hybrid built guys, and they can move, and just some of these guys who aren't necessarily just pure static strength are having a lot of success. But it's good to see with Strongest Man on Earth, at least for me personally, that it's kind of a big old school heavy show. Whereas, I know in years, in recent years that certain shows have maybe been criticized for being lighter, to moving focused, to rep focused. Like World's Strongest Man has sort of gotten that narrative at times in recent years. Do you have a competition, whether it's World's Strongest Man, the Rogue, Arnold, SMO, that's kind of like you got a bullseye on that competition for you?
Yeah, I would say like Smo is like more tailored towards me.
Yeah,
Like I said, heavy. More statically. Like there is a little bit of moving in it, but like it's more catered towards the, just brute strength guys. Like like I kind of do well in the Rogue Invitational. Like I've done, I've placed second in 1 year, and think I would have placed really high in another year, but like got injured.
gotcha. And how's prep been for you so far, man? How has this current prep for Strongest Man on Earth been going?
Lifting heavy, but body feels like it's falling apart.
Hey, you and everyone else right now, man. You and everyone else is
Yeah,
beat to hell, I'm sure.
I'm sure it's gonna
Um,
be like whoever comes in the most healthy and like strongest out of that.
yeah, no, I mean, honestly, like that's a major factor in strongman. Sometimes it's a matter of like who survives all the events, right? I mean, I hate to say it, but you go into just these competitions, they're so heavy and guys are competing so frequently, your body's barely ever get a break that, I mean, like I said, I hate to say it, but someone's gonna get injured
Yeah,
in these competitions. Like you never see one of these where just everyone comes through unscathed. And I think a lot of the time it comes down to who managed their body the best, who maybe managed the year as a whole and just kept their body fresh the best. Like you can't just be 100% for 9 shows
yeah.
year round, right? And do you think that some guys out there are competing too frequently?
Yeah, it definitely can be like athletes competing too frequently. I know I did that 1 year, and like at the later of the year competitions, I didn't perform as well as I should have. And like, yeah, be more selective with your competing. Like even coming up, like you don't want to compete too often because competition is where you test your strength. Like you want to get stronger in between. So just doing every couple of months in between, like coming up, like that's all you really need. And like
Yeah,
pro
yeah.
level, yeah, just be more selective with your shows.
And I'm doing nutrition coaching for a lot of strongman competitors, and I try to tell guys, God, take an off season, like just take a period of time where you can really just focus on your body and just build your general base strength, as opposed to just like you said, competition. You're testing your strength. I mean, if you're just constantly testing, you're never really building,
Yeah,
right? But now at the same time, it's easy for me to say that, but you guys, like, this is your livelihood. And I understand, like, there's a pressure to compete. Do you think that guys, like, is it hard to say no to a show? Is it hard to turn down some of these invites?
yeah, definitely. Especially for the newer guys, like in the sports, like saying no is a little harder. Like you said, like you want, a lot of guys do want an off season, but yes, this is where we make a lot of money for our lives. So it's just like, do you want to say no and lose out some money, or do perform, well?
Yeah. Well, I had Lucas Hatton on a few months back, and he made a good point, which was, your potential to earn is higher if you compete less frequently, but that allows you to podium where it counts. Like you have a higher potential to make money that way, as opposed to trying to compete at everything, and then you're not podium, you're
Yeah,
not making the podium at anything that matters, and you're just making a chump change from a bunch of shows, as opposed to, all right, put your eggs in the baskets that matter, have a shot to actually win or podium at the big time events, and then you can really kind of make a brand and collect some earnings for yourself.
yeah,
Well, there's a handful of guys who are going to be competing in North Americans here in this upcoming weekend, and then they got a quick turnaround to Strongest Man on Earth. So in some ways you may have a little bit of an advantage at Smo, just coming in a little bit fresher, compared to some of these guys. Have you been able to stay, knock on wood, injury free throughout this prep?
we always have a little bit of uh, you know bruises and
Yeah.
little nicks here and there. Like I'm right now just dealing with some like upper body stuff, like tight biceps. Kind of hit like a PR last week on log and just like tweaked a bicep, and like the other one is acting up because of the other one is not doing good, or the other one's doing better. The one that was tweaked, and the other one that didn't get tweaked during the log, like is acting up. Just like, why?
Yeah.
But
Do you work? Do you do any work with like a massage? See a physical therapist, anything like that?
Yeah, I would love to have a massage like on standby, but like everyone like I've been trying to find like a massage therapist again, and they're always busy, backed up. Like I finally made one for like a week later, it's like, all right, next week I get a massage therapist. But I've been going to a physical therapist that does dry needling, and like that really works. Like he finds like all those knots and stuff that can get that worked out. It's just trying to make schedules.
Right. At this point in your career, are you a full-time strongman competitor? Are you at a point where you're not having to work another job? Is this your career at this point?
Yeah, at this point, the strongman is my full time career. But like later on, find something after strongman, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Well, I'm sure you've got a few big wins and several good years ahead of you. Is there an event? And I'm going to go out on a limb and guess maybe log, but is there an event that you're most looking forward to at Strongest Man on Earth?
Yeah, I would say log's the big one. Like especially the most hype was me and Lucas going back and forth. What we're posting. Like we're probably the high bet for like who's going to place first and second.
Yeah.
Like right now, I don't know. Like normally I would say stones, but like with the tweaked biceps, and like that's not been going too well when training lately, just because of the heat. Like other than that, like it's gone well. Like I've hit, a lot of sets of 400 without any tacky, and like the last time I hit stones with tacky, I hit 450 for a bunch of singles, like maybe 4 or 5 singles, and just like. It feels easy, but it's just like as soon as you do a rep, you sweat the tacky off.
Yeah, no, the heat is such a freaking variable, especially in strongman when you're doing an event, whether it's log or stones or something that requires, a surface to have good friction on it. Like, man, I remember doing garage training sessions on log, and I'd have to bring like 8 changes of shirts because the second one got, wet and slippery, that log's just sliding off you, and you're doing stones and the tack is just melting off. But I mean, you're out in the Texas heat, so I know that's a hell of a factor for you, especially, I mean, at your size, just the hydration piece is such a uphill battle.
So it's really bad. Like I'm going through, over a gallon and a half just in training.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I just got done with training, and like I checked the thermostat on my little AC units, and it's like 95 degrees inside, and just like,
oh man. Yeah, that's freaking brutal. And man, just speaking about the stones, I remember this. You'll have to remind me who it was you were up against. God, this was one of just super epic moments in strongman. It was you. It was a head-to-head, last man standing stone over barge, passing it back and forth. Who were you competing against in that?
That was I think you're talking about my first year in World's Strongest Man. Going up against Novikov. We were doing 400.
That's right.
Yeah, 400-pound stones, and we were like lifting for 5.5 minutes solid, like just going.
Do you remember how many reps you ended up having to get on that event?
I got 14 with 400 pounds.
14. Good Lord, man. Guys, if you haven't seen what I'm talking about, I think it's on YouTube. Go on YouTube, look up Trey Mitchell, Novikov, Stone Battle. Just, I mean, it was a tiebreaker event to see who would go to finals, right?
Yeah. So like, we were going like World's Strongest Man is like second and third place would do the stone off to see who would go on to the finals. And so like it was both our first years of World's Strongest Man. So it was just like, all right, we're going to just give this our all, and not, like we both wanted really bad. And it's just, I was able to outlast him a little bit longer, do 14 reps. He got 13.
God, guys, 14 reps nonstop back and forth at a 400-pound stone. I mean, just fighting for your shot at the finals and World's Strongest Man for, what'd you say? It was 5.5 minutes of just nonstop back and forth. I mean, that is absolutely, and that was one of the more epic moments in strongman I've seen, in my opinion. Going into that event, did you have any idea like you might have to hit 14 reps to win that thing?
I don't think I was planning on that many reps. I just knew, like going into it, it's just like, all right, I'm not going to stop until like I either can't lift it or I win.
Yeah. I mean, that's just, again, that's just part of that champion mindset you have. Like, just shut your brain off and go. They're either going to carry you off or you're going to walk off with the win. But yeah, guys, if you haven't seen that, go check that out on YouTube. That was a freaking awesome moment. But here's another question for you. Do you have a rival that you feel like in the sport? Maybe it's Lucas, but is there? And it doesn't have to. I'm not saying it has to be a personal thing, but is there another competitor out there that, man, you'd love to beat that guy?
I mean, everyone. Just
Yeah,
like, I know everyone has their strengths and weaknesses, and like I always want to perform my best. So it's just like, like I want to be able, like Tristan Hoth, he posted a video of him doing a 1,300-pound yoke for training for SMO, and just like that looked easy. It's just like I need to do better in my yoke training, and just like Lucas right now, like me and him are going back and forth trying to get the log at the moment, and it's just like. It's just like everyone's my competitor, but like I always want them to perform their best, obviously, because I want to be able to beat them at their best.
No, I love that, man. I love that. Just, yeah. I mean, a guy like you want those guys to be at their best so you can truly test yourself and beat these guys and be the best of the best against guys who are at their best.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you can win this thing, man?
Yeah, I think I can win to SMO. Like I've already won it twice when it was just the Shaw Classic, but it's the same competition.
Yeah, it is the same competition, and I know you're one of the favorites in the show. But I mean, it's a damn stacked lineup, and I'm gonna be there. I'm flying in. Midweek, and I've got my guys who are. I've got a couple middleweights competing, and then I've got handful of guys I'm doing nutrition for that you'll be competing against. So you'll see me out there running their meals and all their hydration around. But I'm gonna be fired up to see you guys all just going head to head. It's a great community of men. Like, just being around you guys. Like, I mean, it's good people. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, you guys want each other to succeed. It's kind of a good, just the strongman community. It's a tight one. It's a good one.
Yeah.
And I like that about the sport, especially when it comes to the Texas common denominator. Like, I know at World's Strongest Man, some of the other Texas boys, you guys were there, some of them were kind of out of the show and they're helping you. And what does it mean for you to represent the state of Texas? How important is that for you?
Oh yeah, like Texas Pride is always the biggest and best. Like we always got to be loud, and like having Nick and Austin there, the other Texas competitors, like just great motivation, and like they helping me out with like my suit, and like they train with their suits often, and like I barely train with a suit, so they were helping me learn how to do it, put it on, and like get it situated the right way for to perform my at deadlift. And so they're out of the competition, but like I know they would do that just like I would do it for them if they were in the competition still.
Hell yeah. Cool, man. Well, last question for you. What are your overall aspirations in the sport, man? Like do you have a biggest ultimate goal in the sport before it's all said and done?
Obviously, like, got to win like the big shows, like World's Strongest Man, the Arnold. Finally, earn the title of Strongest Man on Earth. So Brian will let me have the three-peat.
Yeah,
but like, want to leave it like I would guess try and leave it better. Like, bring in more people that see how well the sport can be, like how good it can be, like how positive, like you said, like a brotherhood, like how we can make each other better and perform better.
I love that, man. No, I think that's awesome. And just having guys like you in the sport who are at the top, just setting that example and bringing in new people and just kind of showing people the right way to do things as they climb to the top. I think that's something that the sport can greatly benefit from. So I'm happy that guys like you are in it. But anyway, man, I'm not going to keep you any longer. I know you just wrapped up your workout and you got to go get a post-workout meal. What is the post-workout meal?
Just maybe a pound of ground beef, rice, sweet potato, not sweet potatoes. I used to do that, but like carrots and onions. Like that's the main meal, and just fruit. Like after that, like some mandarins. Like I
Got
did
it.
have a little protein shake, like to hold me off. Just a
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I appreciate you taking the time to do this. I know as soon as I get done training, I'm just eyeing that clock, waiting for that. I know it's time to go get that meal in. So anyway, Trey, I appreciate you coming on, man. I'm fired up to see you out there in Colorado for the strongest man on earth. Now, when I see you, I'm going to have to be a little biased towards my dudes that I got in the competition, but then I'll be excited to come out there, shake your hand, and just see you do what you do, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. It was good to see you too.
And Trey, where can people find you?
Like on Instagram, like I said,
Yeah,
Berserker.
yeah.
I had that since I, started Instagram. Didn't think of changing it before I got verified. So that's on Instagram, Berserker Lifter. YouTube, Trey Big Thicket Mitchell.
Yeah, guys, go give him a follow, subscribe to him on YouTube, give him a follow on Instagram, the Berserker Lifter. I think it's an iconic name, so I definitely keep that. But anyway, Trey, appreciate you coming on, man, and it was great seeing you.
Yeah, thank you for having me, John.
All right, brother. We'll talk soon.